This is going to be a very different type of video because usually I don't like giving my testimony because I just don't like giving my testimony. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll talk about myself, obviously, in some of these videos, but I think I'm going to have to use myself as an example for what I'm going to be talking about today. This is the third Crossroads of my channel video. I think the first one was in December and the second one was like March. And there's a lot of new stuff that's been going on, new stuff I'm going to be changing with this channel. And I thought you guys should know about it because you're my audience and it's very important that you know what's going on. So what is really going on? So today I was on a run and it was like just now. Also mind me, I'm like a little bit tired right now, so don't mind me if I'm like just start blinking or whatever. But because it's like pretty late right now, I'm just recording this and I'm not allowed to sleep, so I'm not going to complain about it obviously, but anyways, so I was running earlier and what was I gonna say? I was on a run and I had gotten a comment earlier because I was on a walk before the run and I got a comment on my YouTube channel, one of my videos, saying that the KGV is a bad translation. I was like, okay, that's interesting because I haven't heard that it's a bad translation, obviously, before. And then it's kind of, okay, I could kind of tell, like, obviously I think that in the long run, this is a good thing, but the way that the person mentioned this wasn't very, it was very ortho bro, like, if you know what I mean. It was very just like harsh. I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people who would be less like taking to that. Obviously, I'm very like patient with that, but there's a lot of people who aren't. And so you just gotta be, sorry, I don't know. But there's a lot of people who aren't patient with that, so you have to be careful with that. And I noticed that he brought up a lot of points about, well, one of his last point that he made in our like discussion in the comments, I don't know even know what video it is. It's one of the first requests recently. And he said that are you just going to sway in the wind or are you going to have good theology or something like that? And I thought about that. And because I think I talked about in my second Crossroads my channel video that I was going to try to be more like lenient and use, I didn't actually talk about this. I talked about this with the fella, I'm not really like, I don't really associate with this YouTuber anymore. I'm not going to mention him, but you probably already know who he is. I'm not going to tell you guys why because it's kind of a personal thing. I might bring it up in the future, but I'm not sure yet, so don't even worry about that. But I was talking with a fellow YouTuber about this, one of my friends, or not friends anymore, but whatever. And he had mentioned that I should use the KJV in my verse request because I was going to be bringing verse requests back, and I did. And he said I should use the KJV because it's not, because you shouldn't be like LARPing being Orthodox or whatever. And I thought about that and like, okay, I'll reach a more wider audience if I use the KJV, right? And I'll be able to connect with more non-Orthodox people. I can maybe like talk to them. I'm also wearing the cross right now, so just to let y'all know. And I don't know, that was a bit weird, my bad. But I'm just saying, because I just threw this on because I was going to be talking about that today. And I just been realizing like what is the point of me just like kind of being lenient, not really like talking about why I'm becoming Orthodox or whatever. Because like, it's very important to me. I should also mention, this is going to be part of my testimony. I'm not going to complain about this or whatever, so don't mind me. But I lost a lot like of friends from wanting to become Orthodox. And it's not a problem because I can see it through the lens of, this is the wide gate which leads to destruction. This is the narrow gate which leads to righteousness. I'm not going to say I'm righteous, but I'm just saying that that's kind of what it reminded me of, because when I was like more Protestant minded, I didn't really understand that in the same sense. It didn't make as much sense because like there's so many Christians out there, and now it just makes more sense to me. I don't know. But I've already like lost, what the heck is with my arm? Oh, never mind. And I've already like lost enough. I actually did lose a few subscribers. I mean, it's not like anything now, but I lost a few subscribers from like my big transition for my channel, from more of like Protestant minded to Orthodox minded. And what was that? Never mind. And when my channel transitioned from being Protestant to Orthodox, I lost a lot of influence. I got a lot more negative comments than I usually do. And I've also, like, I obviously know that this is a good thing because you can tell when you're being humbled or something that you're on the right path. I don't know how to describe it, but so what does that all lead to? So I'm going to be stopping using the King James Version. It's not because I think it's a bad version. I should mention, I do think it is a good version, but it leaves out the Septuagint. It doesn't have the Septuagint. It doesn't have the Apocrypha. And so from now on, I will be reading verse requests from here. And so if you want to make any verse requests out of the Apocrypha, you may go ahead because now I'm going to be using it. And it's probably more easier for y'all to understand. I don't have to interpret it for y'all. I am not going to interpret anything because I don't have the spiritual authority to be interpreting scripture. But at the same time, what was I going to say? So that was important. I was going to mention that this, so one of the main points I'm going to be making in this video is that this is going to be more Orthodox minded in the future because what I did, I was very like peer pressured by this fellow YouTuber. I'm not going to go too much into detail, obviously. And he's probably not even going to watch this video, which doesn't matter because I'm not going to, it's going to sound weird. I don't know. But it's very much like a peer pressure not to talk about it and just to like kind of bounce around it. You know what I mean? And like, it's just the truth. And so like sharing the truth is important. You know what I mean? And so I can't fall into the trap of being peer pressured when I know something is the truth. So it's just important for me to speak the truth. You know what I mean? So that's what I was trying to say, is that I'm not trying to call out anybody specifically or like hate on anyone because that's not really like my thing. But I'm just saying that I was definitely peer pressured into not talking about it as much on my channel. And I will be because it's important. And because I really, frankly, okay. And honestly, like, I don't care. It's like a weird way to put it. But if I'm going to get like hate comments and stuff for speaking the truth, I don't care. It's important. Because there's been a lot of like changes in my life recently. I'm not going to go into detail with that, obviously. But at least not now. And I've like lost some friends, gained some friends, lost stuff, gained stuff. It's whatever. It's a whole like there's a lot of changes right now. And in like the whole dynamic. It's also summertime, so it's a different kind of time. And so that's been on my mind. And this is all on my mind when I was running, so I just wanted to like talk about this. And that is the third Crossroads of my channel. I think something else I was going to mention. But yeah, this channel is going to be more Orthodox minded. I will be doing more fitness content. I was going to talk about that. We're going to talk more about that in the future. And there are more videos coming up soon. And verse requests will now be done in the OSB. I will be doing, there are some people who've recommended me to do verses in the KJV. And I'll still do them because you recommended it specifically from the King James Version. But if you haven't, I'm just going to do the OSB because the OSB is the version I use personally. And it has it uses the Septuagint and it uses the Apocrypha, which is important. So that is the third Crossroads of my channel. And I don't know, I hope you all learned something. God bless.